PFC Shane Penley, age 19, Sauk Village, Illinois. Died in Iraq April 6, 2008.
We will remember you.
August 31st. We remember, say the Veterans for Peace, as they march on the Excel Center to read out the names of U.S. soldiers and Iraqi civilians killed in the war.
Unknown Iraqi child's bloody face and loss of right eye. We will remember you.
Let them in! They have served this country! Let them in!
9 are arrested for breaching the security perimeter. Monday, opening day for the RNC. At the state capitol, the people assembled, preparing to march in peaceful protest to the Excel Center. Estimates vary on the size of the crowd, between 10 and 30,000 people. The police were armed with extended batons, pepper spray, tasers, tear gas guns, automatic rifles, and guns firing less lethal projectiles. Today, public order would be kept by 3,700 police from across Minnesota, with the help of thousands more from over 30 agencies. The RNC Welcoming Committee had divided St. Paul into 7 sectors so that groups throughout the country could coordinate their actions and blockade as many access points as possible. Each group created a unique blockade, independent yet collaborative. Major entrance and travel points in each sector, from highway on-ramps to busy intersections to hotel shuttle bus loading spaces, were claimed by the affinity groups. Traffic was blocked for several hours in downtown St. Paul, and during the chaotic scene, the swarm of protesters was able to disable at least 2 buses by slashing their tires and smashing their windows. Delegates were delayed in getting to the Excel Center, and hundreds of America's political elite were directly and personally confronted by an energetic declaration of opposition.
I'm shutting down. They are getting ready to spray down here. I said the protesters have came down. The police are on their way down here, and I am going to shut down before they spray.
Police reacted aggressively, strategically and methodically working to force protesters out of key intersections and off of main thoroughfares. They used blunt object force, chemical weapons, and concussion grenades in an attempt to disperse, or at least push back, the crowds. And when their numbers allowed it, police surrounded and arrested entire groups of protesters, reporters, and bystanders.
Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
From that day on, the St. Paul police held a constant assault against all RNC protesters, regardless of their affiliation or permit status. We remember the U.S. tank that fired on the Palestine Hotel in Baghdad, killing Spanish journalist Jose Cuso, and the U.S. missile attacks on the offices of Al Jazeera in both Iraq and Afghanistan, shortly after the U.S. invaded those two countries. Altogether, at least 217 journalists and media assistants have been killed in Iraq since the start of the U.S.-led invasion, according to Reporters Without Borders. Recently, indie media journalist Sally Grace Ayler was raped and murdered in Oaxaca, Mexico, in a case linked to political repression, much like the case of indie media videographer Brad Will, who in 2006 was gunned down in Oaxaca while covering the teachers' strike. Journalists serve as the eyes and ears of democracy. Without free access to the story, there can be no freedom of the press. In St. Paul, the police escalated their usual heavy-handed attack on media activists by first detaining, nearly a week before the convention began, members of the Glass Bead Collective.
They confiscated our cameras. They confiscated our notes. They confiscated our computers. What they took away is our ability to report.
Later, police raided Eyewitness Video, a cop watch group. Their footage of police arrests at the RNC 4 years ago in New York resulted in hundreds of arrested demonstrators getting off, since the eyewitness video footage showed time and again that the police were lying about the circumstances of the arrests.
We heard them basically busting in. Myself and Elizabeth Press and another gentleman in the house had cameras, and we were videotaping and photographing as we heard the police bust through an attic door, yell police, come down the stairs, and enter the living room with a handgun drawn on us.
Come on top of your head, please. On top of your head, please.
Notify you about that? That we need to think about it more.
2 members of the PepperSpray Collective, Lambert Rochfort and Joe Lassac, were arrested in St. Paul while covering the protests. They were both held for days, and their cameras were not released until after the story they traveled from Seattle to cover was over. It was a serious blow, which put the lens cap on their reports.
Hey, right there. Ma'am,
Release the accredited journalist now!
From the convention
You are violating my constitutional rights. You are violating
now.
Sir, I want to talk.
Authorities picked up a rock only to drop it on their own feet with the arrest of Democracy Now!'s popular host Amy Goodman and her crew. The police quickly let Amy out of jail as they were inundated with a storm of calls and other pressure demanding her release. Independent filmmaker Flox Rostrom operates Mobile Broadcast News, a school bus that serves as a video production facility, roaming the country to cover underground news. Throughout the RNC, the St. Paul police attempted to break in numerous times without a warrant, forcing the Mobile Broadcast News crew to keep watch 24/7.
Get out of here! Get down on your face! On your face! Get down on your face! Ow! On your back!
Domestic preemptive raids and arrests against protest organizers and the press marks an escalation by the authorities. They clearly wanted to cripple the movement and our ability to report on it, and certainly did not want the unblinking eye of the camera trained at them while they did their dirty work. These tactics raise political questions around the constitutional right of freedom of the press and exposes the ugly face of the police state.